I'm Joy Hankins. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I attended Clark Atlanta University a long time ago when I was a Spanish major, and I studied abroad in the Dominican Republic and also in Puerto Rico while I was there. When I was studying abroad, my classes were in Spanish. They were mostly advanced. I know I had about maybe one or two classes that were intermediate, but our professors didn't speak English. So that in and of itself made everything that we did advanced for us, because we didn't have a choice. But also, they took us on excursions. So we very much had to advocate for ourselves. We had to order for ourselves. We were just kind of put into this environment where we had to speak Spanish to survive, and that was the best way to learn the language. Before I went to study abroad, I would say my Spanish was good. I had taken Spanish for 4 years in high school, but I was still at the point where I was translating. So I was thinking in English of what I wanted to say, saying it in Spanish. When I left the Dominican Republic, I left with the ability to just speak Spanish and not have to think about what I wanted to say, just be able to fluently express myself. And so that was a very short period of time. It was a 4 week program that I was in, and I left feeling completely confident expressing myself in Spanish. So I think one of the beauties about studying abroad in the Dominican Republic is that when we looked around, we saw Black people. So we didn't initially feel this sense of culture shock, but at the same time, it was different in that it was a very slow paced, easygoing feel. Even though we were in the larger city of Santo Domingo, that was recognizable right away. There were a lot of people on bicycles and not cars, a lot of people on motorcycles, and it was just a different feeling. One of the things that I loved about it, though, is the music. So the native music in the Dominican Republic is merengue, and it's similar to salsa, which is more popular, but it's fast paced and it definitely has its roots in Africa. So you feel this music, you hear this music, everyone is dancing all the time. There's a lot of soul food every day. The food is so flavorful. So it was just it. I probably would want to say it was kind of like the closest feeling that I've had to being able to go to Africa. I've never been to Africa, but I felt so connected to my African roots being in the Dominican Republic. So I am the founder and the CEO of a natural hair care company. It's called The Joy of Curls. I make textured hair products, but I also donate to kids in foster care and teach parents of Black children how to style textured hair. But having a textured hair brand, a lot of my customers are Spanish speaking. So I've had pop-ups in person where I don't necessarily present like someone who is Spanish speaking. So I'll have customers trying to ask each other about my products and figure it out. And I'm able to jump right in and explain my products to them. So that's been wonderful. But also in terms of marketing my products, right, I can market to Spanish speaking people and speak personally and not have to rely on someone else to talk about my brand. So being a Spanish speaker, being bilingual has been so influential in my life from the moment I started speaking Spanish. First, from relationship building, because I definitely have close relationships with people who I would not have been able to connect with otherwise. I have very strong relationships in my life that I've had for 20 plus years simply because I'm able to speak Spanish to them. Um, but also, every job that I've had from, leaving college and beyond, being able to say that I'm bilingual has gotten me that job. And not only gotten me the job, but gotten me more money. So when I was working for the city of Phoenix, they had a Spanish certification where you could take a test to test your fluency. And if you passed that test, you got a certificate and they paid you more. So I was able to benefit from that. Um, I was able to teach at a charter school before I got my teaching degree because I'm fluent in Spanish and I was teaching Spanish, and they allowed that and allowed me to go to my classes and still have a full-time job. So that was amazing. So um it's just, I'm a different person because I'm bilingual. I have different influences in my life because I'm bilingual. Even I think it's just enriched my life because even the music that I listen to in my home, the things that I have learned and picked up and shared with my family, um, they've all been a result of me being bilingual. So I even want to learn another language now that I speak Spanish, just because I feel like I'm missing something. But I encourage everyone, especially while you're young, to learn a second language. Spanish is everywhere, so I encourage Spanish. You want to learn a language that you're going to be able to speak and practice frequently. And there are certainly different places in the United States where you can go and be immersed in Spanish. So I encourage that fully, but it's the best decision that I could have made for myself to be bilingual. So my children do speak Spanish to some degree, not fluently. My older son, Julian, he speaks Spanish when he really wants something from me. And he thinks it's going to warm my heart if he asks me in Spanish. But he's also a young college student, and he's had to get odd jobs where he's spoken Spanish at work. So I know he's been appreciative, and he gets a lot of attention from his coworkers for speaking Spanish. So I know that's really cool. I also have a younger son, Kadir, who speaks more Spanish than Julian, probably because he's in the house with me. But something really cool happened the other week where we almost had a viral moment on Instagram because he wanted to be friends with this little boy at the store. I was standing in line. The little boy, Sebastian, speaks only Spanish. Kadir speaks mostly English. And Sebastian was trying to talk to Kadir but didn't know what to say in English. So he was very shy. So I helped Kadir with his Spanish, and they were communicating and they were smiling, and it was so cute. But it just was a reminder to me of how important it is for his relationships, even at 4, for him to be bilingual. Um, but apart from that, I definitely insisted that my son take Spanish in high school. Julian, my older one, I will do the same with Kadir. I try to um, immerse them in the language. They listen to the music all the time. They have songs memorized in Spanish. And for me, that was the best way to learn. But just finding ways to connect with them where they can get that Spanish language has been really helpful in my home. And also, Julian had a best friend in high school, and his best friend's mom only spoke Spanish. So imagine 2 teenagers trying to coordinate what they're going to do, and their parents don't speak the same language. I mean, we could have been totally taken advantage of if we were relying on my son's friend to translate for us. So it just comes up in so many unexpected ways as this blessing that I have in being bilingual. So, one final thing that I want to say is that a lot of people in this country are bilingual. There are a lot of people that you will find that are Spanish speaking, but being Black and Spanish speaking is rare. And that's something that has also gotten me different opportunities. I was able to work for a council member who was Black, who wanted someone from our community to have a voice and also be bilingual. And I know that's how I got that job. But you have a unique gift of having our culture, our Black culture, but also being bilingual. That's something that's rare and that's needed. So I just want to say, if you feel like you're not so sure if you want to continue with your Spanish, even if it's just one class, even if you change your major, whatever you decide, continue cultivating that language. it will come back around and benefit your life. It's a tremendous blessing, and I wish that on all of you.